Scott Baradell from Idea Grove's back on the James Show. And before we get into our main topic that I want to talk about, what are you thankful for, Scott? Welcome back to the James Show. But let's hear some positivity out of Scott first.
Well, thanks for having me. And everything you said, I couldn't agree more. We so take for granted how much we have, and it's so easy to look at once someone else who has more than us, or the things that aren't perfect, and as opposed to just everything you laid out is just so true. And in my case, my family, I have 5 kids, the fact that they're all healthy, the fact that they're all doing well in school and all those things, I know those things are not guaranteed, and you've got to appreciate them every day. So, yeah, I'm with you. It's a good day to remember how lucky we are, but it would be nice if we remembered that every day.
Well, I think a big problem here is, it's easy to blame social media or just the media in general, but we do have a negative cognitivity bias. We are more interested. We're more likely to click on stories that are negative. We're more likely to pause our scrolling on stories that are negative than the positive ones. So are we just kind of spinning ourselves into this whole negativity hole when we don't deserve to be pessimistic?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely been shown that, in terms of, evolution and over eons that are, as a species, we're trained to look for negative things in terms of risks, things to avoid, things to be wary of, as opposed to happy things because, oh, that's fine. I can just go on my way until I see something else I need to worry about. And so the media, social media, they all play into that instinct to be attracted to negative things and to be more absorbed by negative things. And unfortunately, I think that's just in hyperdrive with all the different voices and all the different rabbit holes that people can go down today.
Well, I saw this study that says 1 in 5 adults get their news from social media influencers. Like it's a bad thing. I think, if you're in social media, you at least have a chance of getting the truth to a story, where if the media gets it wrong, they're pretty much all going to get it wrong. And you're really shortchanging yourself if you don't include social media.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks from, mainstream or traditional media are like, wait a minute, it's horrible that they're getting things from influencers. But the reality is that influencers are more trusted. These are people that are producing content every day in different subject areas, different niches. And yeah, they're not typically trained as journalists or news people, but they are believed by the people that follow them. So whether it's Joe Rogan or Alex Cooper or Caller Daddy, or all the different people who have small audiences. It's all about trust and the fact that they've built relationships of trust. And it doesn't matter if they're a journalist. They're sharing information that because you trust them, you believe it.
Well, I have no sympathy for any complaints coming from the traditional media because, guys, you killed your own credibility when you lied to us about Jussie when 90% of the country could tell that was a fake story. You lied to us even about piddly things like the opening of the Olympic ceremony when they were making fun of the Last Supper with all the trans people. They're like, oh, you idiot, that's Dionysus. Why don't you read some history? Well, it clearly wasn't, And so when we see the media lie about that and they lie about big things, saying, no, Joe Biden's mentally fit up until the debate. If they have any complaints, I just hold up a mirror and say, it's your fault, pal.
Well, it's certainly gotten a lot worse. The efforts to be objective on both sides have just kind of gone out the window. I mean, I think if you want to talk about influencers, you can go back to Rush Limbaugh in the 80s and the fact that he was looking at what was coming out of mainstream media and he didn't buy a lot of it. And he put his own spin on it and developed a huge audience of others who also agreed that they didn't agree with what was coming out of mainstream media. And that's just spun into a lot of different, whether it's people on TikTok or podcasts. I mean, there's just lots of choices today and lots of different places you can get your information. And people don't trust the mainstream media, but they need to trust someone. And they find the people they trust and they believe in them.
All right, Scott Baradell, usually you just say you're from Idea Grove, but last week when you were on, you were promoting something new. What was that?
I'm promoting something new every week. I don't know. Well, that's what I do. I do marketing and PR. But in addition to Idea Grove, I would say I do have a book out that talks about issues exactly like this. It's called Trust Signals. So if you Google Trust Signals and go to Amazon, I'd be very thankful on Thanksgiving if you bought my book.
All right, there he is. Scott Baradell, Trust Signals is the book. Thank you very much for being on a Thanksgiving. You gave me some of your time on a holiday. I really do appreciate that, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.